like the Flashpoint, where it starts, one of the key matrix lines that will help shatter this status centralized system.
Hello, friends. Welcome, friends. This is Flashpoint Radio, and I am your host, Jay-Z. It is Tuesday, May 8th, 2012. Thank you for joining me. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter at Flashpoint Radio. Go over to Facebook.com/Flashpoint Radio. Like that as well. Click subscribe to get updates on new episodes. And then like this video and share this with your friends. The information is good and should be heard by as many people as possible. We are going to look tonight at some ways the government wants to get into your life again. Not like they don't do that enough already, but we've got this story which is pervasive throughout media, local and national, from the USA Today. Obesity could affect 42% of Americans by 2030. Yes, the computer algorithms, the computer predictions are out, and by 2030, we will all be fat. Or, well, not really, but only 6% more will be considered obese in 2030 than were in 2010. Of course, they can simply change what they use to define obese over time to make the percentages seem higher, to make you afraid of your own fatness and give you a feeling of helplessness, which is what they want you to have. The same way they want you to be afraid of Al-Qaeda and afraid of terrorism, they want you to be afraid of getting fat and afraid of diet and exercise. They want you to be afraid of making your own decisions about healthy eating, that they need to take away those bad choices that are making you fat in this country. Well, this article leads to this, which comes as no real surprise from Yahoo News. Obesity fight must shift from personal blame, says U.S. panel. Well, they put out a report that says in 15 years or so, we're going to be even fatter. And then the government, while they funded that study, they come here and they fund another group, the Institute of Medicine, that says that the only way to fight this is more government intervention. So it is problem, reaction, solution. The government poses a problem. They state they're the only solution, and you have nothing to do about it. And then they come in and say, let's do it. They say that, well, people have had the advice to eat less and move more for years, but they just aren't heeding that advice. And there is something wrong, and it is the environment. The environment is the problem, the obesity-promoting environment. Well, I thought that we were killing the environment, but now the environment's killing us? Wait a minute. Obviously not the same thing. But let's look at some statistics from this article that I find a bit, comical. But in 1977, children 2 to 18 consumed an average of 1,842 calories per day. And they say, by contrast, in 2006, they consumed 3,000 No, it's only 2022, which is less than 200 calories more than they consumed then, which doesn't seem like a giant increase to me, but they put it out there as one giant culprit. Well, they say, let's look at some of the ways they say we should tackle this. Well, how about soda taxes, candy taxes? Because as we all know, taxing things makes people do less of that. As in this, from some research on U.S. smoking rates, in the 1990s, 26% of American adults smoked, and in the 2000s, 24% smoked. So a 2% decrease in smokers in the country, and how much money and how much anti-smoking campaigns have been pushed on us since that time, and we've only seen a 2% reduction. Well, if you're looking for the government to have this answer, they're not it. Because they say there is no magic bullet. The government needs to have multiple tools at their availability to fix it. When in actuality, that is the magic bullet from their perspective. They don't want you to know that, but the government is the magic bullet. They say that they can fix everything. If you give them the power, they can fix everything. Well, power to tax our sodas. How about the power to affect farm policy? Sounds a little bit like Agenda 21, Codex Alimentarius, but nah, you don't want to put in Agenda 21 in your search engine. That would be just crazy. They say that price programs that support wheat and cotton and other commodity crops, meaning subsidies, prohibit participating farmers from planting fruits and vegetables. And they say we need to get rid of that, but not get rid of the subsidies. So keep the subsidies, just spread out what those subsidies go for. They did not endorse, however, a call to eliminate the farm subsidies that make high fructose corn syrup, partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, and other obesity-promoting foods very cheap to produce. They say, quote, there is no evidence subsidies contribute to obesity. Well, if a business finds out that making an unhealthy product is cheaper, they can put it out there and hide it from the public, and there's no, actual labeling needed, truth in labeling. They're going to do it because they're a corporation who doesn't have any responsibility to its consumer. Their responsibility lies in their board or their stockholders, which is usually a hedge fund or an investment firm or another company. It is not owned by someone you can actually see. So yes, it does contribute to obesity. 100% it contributes to obesity, but they will never do that because the lobbyists are the food companies. They are Frito-Lay and Monsanto and all of the giant corporations that are pumping you full of GMO, and they do not want you to know about it. Why? Well, they lobbied the government to prevent labeling of GMOs on food. This was what I found very odd. Their recommendations for schools and for children's and for the neighborhoods. The panel recommends tax incentives for developers to build sidewalks. They say a lack of sidewalks make it impossible to safely walk to work, school, or even neighbors' homes in many communities. In 1977, 20% of trips were walking trips. The figure has dropped to 12.5% in 2001. Are they trying to tell me that from 77 to 01, we have less sidewalks? We have destroyed sidewalks? I say no. I say we probably have more sidewalks. I say probably people just aren't walking. They're making that choice not to walk because they're lazy, and that is their choice to be lazy. And it is not impossible to safely walk to school. Again, Agenda 21, look it up. It is what is changing the outlook of this country. It is what is changing the landscape in your city. Also, they are calling for schools to make anti-obesity efforts a focal point. They've made these recommendations for primary and secondary schools to have at least 60 minutes of physical education. They state that the most recent data says only 4% of elementary schools and 8% of middle schools, 2% of high schools provide daily physical education for all students. What changed? I don't understand when that changed. Why was that allowed to change? When I was in school, everybody went to gym class. I went to gym class every day. That changed? I didn't know that changed. It calls for banning sugar-sweetened drinks in schools and making drinking water freely available. When did drinking water cease to be freely available at our public schools? Is that a true statement? Is there no longer drinking fountains at our schools? Are they not allowed to use the drinking fountains? Seriously, I really don't understand. But we have states that are combating this, as we profiled yesterday. In Massachusetts, from the Boston Herald, states' junk food ban could take a bite out of school fundraisers. Because yes, it is the bake sales. It is selling pizzas. It is Girl Scout cookies. It is people brownie boarding your children. Not waterboarding, brownie boarding. Tying your children down and forcing brownies and cookies and cupcakes down their throat that is causing our obesity epidemic. It is not simply people's choices. They state there is no magic bullet while they're giving you a magic bullet, which is the government, when there is a magic bullet and it works for every individual. That is choices. Healthy and good choices. But you have to make them individually, and the government wants to destroy individuality. So naturally, if you want to destroy individuality, then you can't have an individual approach to healthy living. You have to have a giant collective approach to healthy living and to basically everything in this country. Put a wide net out there to grab everybody. Those of us making healthy decisions that want to splurge every once in a while, we can no longer do it. Why? Because there are idiots out there who make no good decisions. So because there are idiots, we all suffer. That is not America. America was founded on an idiot's right to be an idiot and die, and our right to look at them dying and trust that the people around that person will make the right decision. Why have smoking rates gone down in the last 50 years? I'd say because people see people dying, and they've decided, well, I'll put the correlation between lung cancer and smoking as a reason for that person dying, and I'm going to make that decision. Or it could be that they banned advertising of something that knowingly kills people. Well, if we have an obesity epidemic, what is killing people? Junk food. Then why don't you ban Lay's potato chips and Doritos from advertising like you did cigarettes? Why don't you do that? No, because you have those lobbyists. Because it doesn't matter, because you don't really care. You take the money from the cigarettes while the cigarettes spend money to market. You want people to smoke because you make more off of the taxes from people buying cigarettes. Do you get it yet? Do you understand? They want you to die. They just want you to think they're looking out for you, when in actuality, it's just a payoff for their friends. Everything is a payoff. It's all crony capitalism. It's all a mafia-run government, and we have no say. No say whatsoever. But if you keep watching Flashpoint Radio, spread this to your friends and family. Get them to look at real information and to make healthy choices in their own life. Maybe we can turn this ship around. Maybe. But who knows? If we all just melt back into the couch and watch that TV behind me over and over and over and spend our money in giant corporations, grocery stores and at baseball games and continue in the same mindless, brainwashed state we are, then we'll never turn this ship around. Only the truth can set you free, people. Jay-Z signing off from Flashpoint Radio saying, check me again tomorrow. God bless and keep your eyes to the sky.